Hey free-to-play gang, welcome back to another video. Now, something huge that I need to share with you guys, and I kind of hate sharing this because that probably means that this content is going to be a lot more competitive, especially if you are an AFK player like I am. So I do not ever manual anything at all, and I discovered a team that is incredibly powerful, and it is so strong that about 80% of the time I finish the first phase with absolutely no buffs on the boss at all, which means that we're able to consistently land 10 or more debuffs every single time the boss takes his turn. That is insane. So this is only possible because of the addition of Meredith. Meredith is super insane, and I'm going to make a few videos capturing how powerful she is for whatever content. So right now, I feel like Meredith is straight up all the way to triple S tier. Like if there is a triple S tier, she belongs right there. She is so freaking powerful. Okay, so not only is her captain ability really strong, she also has a very powerful third skill as well with a cooldown of just 3 turns. Because of this part, if the target's HP is greater than 80%, ability cooldown -1 turn, which means this skill is always going to be 3 turns for most of the content. For example, like up against bosses. So with that said, let's take a look at her skills and then we can go on with the rest of the content. So this is Sonic Venom, attacks one enemy 3 times, damage per hit is 40% of attack, with a 45% chance of dispelling 1 buff per hit. So she can dispel up to 3 buffs, which is not bad for Dark Starlord because sometimes the Dark Starlord does have buffs. But it's not going to be so much of a big deal because we have Biondina. And now next, Sonic Shield. This is a skill that I don't really like. So if you can make this skill cooldown 4 turns, that is the best. Heals one ally, healing 30% of their max HP, grants defense up and crit resist for 2 turns, which is like, it's nonsense. Here's the third skill, Hand of Scylla. So this is like 50% of her entire kit. So attacks one enemy, right, just one enemy, reduces their max HP by 30% up to 50% of her own HP. And if the target's HP is greater than 80%, you reduce this skill's ability cooldown by 1 turn, which is what I said earlier. And then you heal all allies based on 25% of the damage dealt, which in most cases is going to be quite a significant amount, especially if you're using this against bosses like Fafnir. Now when healing overflows, you grant shield for 2 turns, and shield strength is 50% of the overflow healing. So it grants all allies speed up for 2 turns afterwards, and if an ally's HP is greater than 80%, you grant it recovery for 2 turns as well. Take note of the number of buffs that there is on this skill, and that will give you an idea of where she's going to be good at in subsequent videos that I'm going to showcase her in. So much shit in one single skill. This is insane. This is absurd. This is so powerful. So these are the stats that I have on her, and she's on a Windwalker set with as much speed as I can muster, so she has plus 189. And as for the rest of my first team, which is the main focus of today's video, I have Biondina, who is also very important for the buff stealing over here. So as you can see, I don't have any skill ups on her, which I think is actually good enough. I don't feel like I ever needed her to have skill ups. It's kind of like a waste. But anyway, I do have her on Astro Witchcraft with as much speed as I can muster on her as well. So she is going to be a little bit more of the support build, not so much of the offensive build. So she has quite a decent amount of HP here with a decent amount of defense. Okay, and then moving on to Kara, this is very typical. So just a support build with as much speed as you can, and I like to go with Ocean Waves even though some people swear against it because that makes her less regular as opposed to running Windwalker, which I fully understand. But I do feel like, you know, these Ocean Waves just proc so often anyway, so it kind of works out in the end, right? So 80% accuracy as well, very important stuff. And now Hall. So the important thing about Meredith is that she has 2 skills that land single target damage, right? Hand of Scylla and her normal attack, which would then trigger Hall to trigger his passive as well so that he can land more poisons, which is super important. So Hall, his speed is not important at all. All he needs to do is survive. So try to give him as much HP, as much defense as you can, and of course as much accuracy, because this boss has like insane levels of resistances, and apparently 80% accuracy is not going to be able to work all the time. So just try to get as much accuracy as you can and as much tankiness. Don't worry too much about the speed. It is really quite irrelevant. And then finally we have Jin Yuya, who is also very essential for removing the buff block that the followers can apply to my team, which sucks. Oh, and the miss rate up as well. That is also very important. So here are the stats of Jin Yuya with the Windwalker set. Ideally, she don't need to have that much accuracy, I feel, because I'm running her auto, which means that I'm not going to be using her third skill to strip buffs. But if you're going to be using her on manual, then yes, you will need a lot more accuracy. So without further ado, I've run this so many times but to the point that I need to use Nexus Crystals right now. So let's take a look. Okay, so this will be a full auto team. So I'm just gonna like not touch this button on the right side here. Alright, oh my god. Okay, target the main boss. I nearly targeted the follower on the right. Okay, so for this team, it's gonna be a full auto team, and hopefully we get to see completely 0 stacks of the buff that the boss has. And the buff that I'm talking about is obviously this Shadow Embrace, right? And the reason why you want to get rid of this, or at least minimize the number of buffs that he has, is that each stack increases AP after the boss takes his action or takes his turn, and reduces damage taken as well, which kind of sucks for your subsequent teams, where that's where your damage comes in a lot, and to have him at 0 stacks is very ideal so that he don't take that many turns, and so that if you slow him down, he really becomes very slow. So that's very essential. And one thing that might stand out to most of you guys is a lot of you, probably like 80 to 90% of you guys are using Asenath in your Team 1. And the reason why you're using Asenath is because she's a really good protector. She has the Lotus marks and all that. Really good, right? But what I realized is that it's not so important that you have a dedicated healer. And the reason for that is what kills you is not the lack of healing, but what kills you is the red debuffs that you can see on top of all of my espers here. So as you can see, all these, what's it called, Star Cluster? Yeah, Star Cluster marks, right? So these are the issue, right? These are the problems. And it is impossible for you to get rid of them, so therefore you need to go around it and to circumvent it by bringing other kinds of healers instead that has more supportive roles as opposed to Asenath, which is just like a pure healer, which kind of sucks in my opinion. So Meredith, she is a healer, right? She has 2 skills that heals, and especially a 3rd skill which is super important because it gives you the speed up buff. And coupled with the fact that she has a captain ability with the speed up, right? So she has a total of like, I don't know how much speed provided to your entire team. So a lot of speed means a lot of debuffs. A lot of speed means a lot of cleansing, a lot of turn taking, right? A lot of cooldown reductions, or not really cooldown reductions, but turn cycling. So as you can see here, it's very easy for us to lap the boss as long as you keep him at like 0 stacks. So even the stacks apply right now. So as long as we keep him at 0 stacks, we are going to be able to just lap the boss. I mean, like just keep lapping the boss, landing all the debuffs. And you might even see Kara throwing her 3rd skill like a couple of times per, like between each of the boss's attacks, which is insane. So currently, we're doing pretty fine. Our HPs are still pretty high, right? We are like almost full. Except for Jin Yao, she's going to start depleting her own HP very soon. So this is working well for us. We do not need a dedicated healer like I said. So Biondina is here for the buff stripping. Meredith is here for like the speed up buff, the healing, everything, all the good stuff. The regeneration and the shield as well, right? So that also protects your team a little bit. Kara is just here for the poisons and the slow debuff, which is super crucial sometimes. Okay, maybe not so crucial for this team because my team is super freaking fast right now. And Hull obviously for all the single target poison support. And of course Jin Yao for the purification because the followers on the left and right, they suck a lot, right? So the one on the left, he can apply misrate, I think. Right, let's check it out. Can I check it out? Oh my god, do not attack the follower on the left. Okay, but whatever. So one of the followers applies misrate up, the other follower applies buff blocker. Both suck. Both completely suck for us. So we need to make sure that we get rid of that in the form of Jin Yao. So some of you guys might have Catherine, right? You might be asking, should I use Catherine instead? Is Catherine better than Jin Yao? In my opinion, I think no. Even in an auto lineup, I don't feel like Catherine is that good because of her 3rd skill. And the reason why her 3rd skill sucks is because if the boss uses his AoE Meteor Nuke, right? And you have that buff on you, you are going to survive that attack, which means that you're going to like waste a turn, and the boss is probably going to like consume another turn, which means your team 2 is a little bit closer to getting its first nuke, which kind of sucks. So you want to delay that as much as possible. So right now we are doing pretty fine, right? The boss has no stacks just yet, and hopefully we can stay this way because there's another 2 more turns, and of course in like the next turn he's gonna be able to drop his 3rd skill, which is his immunity skill, and that's where Biondina comes in a little bit with the buff block. So as you can see here, the boss does have a buff block over here. Oh sorry, it's here now. Okay, it's moving around a little bit because Biondina takes a lot of turns. So the buff block is also very important. Yeah, so Biondina is very crucial. So currently I feel like this team is final. Like there is no way that I can there's no possibility of me shifting this lineup around at all. At all. There is no way. Like this team is just perfect right now. Because as you can see, we are handling the debuffs just fine. So all I need to work on now is just my team 2 and my team 3, and I think that's about it. Moving forward, they're probably going to release more espers that's going to make things a little bit more convenient, make things a little bit better as well. And I'm looking forward to that as well. But I'm just happy that we have the necessary tools at hand right now to make things work. Right? Something like this, really insane, just a lot of debuffs, constant debuffs, no buffs on the boss at all, still no buffs. So this is like the last part, right? So the buff blocker actually prevented the immunity from landing, which is perfect. If not, we would have missed our 3rd skill here. So the buff block, super key. And of course, ideally, we do not want to lose any espers, right? So it's kind of like a good thing that we lost Jin Yao now when we don't really need Jin Yao anymore. If we lost like Kara or we lost Hall, things would have been very different for us. So yes, we did it. Nice. 10 buffs, 10 debuffs. Nice, we did it. Okay, so the boss will have no stacks at all. Fantastic. Fantastic showcase. Nice. Proud of you, Daddy. Thank you. Thank you, Daddy. But anyway, so that's all I really wanted to showcase for today's video, just to showcase how we can get 0 stacks with this insane team. And it's really just, oh my god, we survived. Or not. Nice. Fantastic. This is a perfect clear. So now moving on to Team 2, we don't have to worry about the boss landing his meteor attack over here, right? Like this Stellar Smash. So yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about. The idea is to just go YOLO. And I know it's kind of scary because in your first team, it's a very scary place to be because you're juggling a lot of things, right? You're juggling your healing, you're juggling your buffs, you're juggling your debuffs, everything. And most people would not be daring enough to make the jump into just going full YOLO, like what I was doing. This really shows that it works, right? The team is so self-sufficient, it is so strong. So even with the Jin Yu Yao, you know, if you have a lot of turn cycling and all that, she's gonna like keep healing. She's gonna keep healing her team, along with Meredith as well with her third skill. So all of that really adds up a lot. Anyway, that's all I wanted to share for this video. If you guys want to see more Dark Starlord videos in the future, let me know down in the comments below, and I might just make a video for it. Because right now I do have an auto 16 million team or something like that anyway, which is pretty cool. Anyway, that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed today's content. If you did, don't forget to give a thumbs up. It really helps the channel, and subscribe for more Dislyte content. Now with that said, this has been Derry Free to Play, and as always, I will see you in the next video.